Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Delsin Pistons. You are seeing SexCast 2.0 After Dark, hosted by myself. Today we have a very special guest, Dolf Dietrich. He will be being interviewed by me, and he's an amazing guy. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him into studio. Thank you, viewer, for coming in on Periscope. This is simulcast on Periscope, Twitch, and on YouTube. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest for this evening, Dolf Dietrich. Hello, Dolf.
Hey, everybody.
So, how have you been? How have you been dealing with this pandemic?
Well, I'm pretty good, Delsin. Good to talk to you. Good to see everybody. I'm not seeing you. I hope you're enjoying seeing me. I'm good, and I want to introduce everyone to my dog here. This is Joe, who a lot of you guys know from my Twitter feed.
Hi, Joe.
This is Joe, the rescue dog. So we've been doing pretty good in the pandemic. We just moved back to New York City on August 1st, and we're getting back in the swing of things. We're starting to work, which is nice. We're we're doing all the social distancing, testing, masks, all of that, and it's been really good. But we're ready to get back to work.
So, as you know, and Joe, you are looking so cute and camera ready, just like your daddy.
Such a sweet boy.
And I love the whole little, doggy bathhouse thing that you did. That was actually kind of cute.
Yeah, he's like my best friend, so he's always there. He's been in some of my photo shoots, and he's a good guy.
He looks like it. So let me bring up. So today I wanted to ask you a couple of questions. How did you get into the porn industry? Many of the fans out there know you, Dolf Dietrich. Very well known, a very extensive porn career. So give our fans a little taste of what got you into the industry, how you got into the business, and why.
Sure. So I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts. I grew up a Catholic, went to Catholic school. I was very reserved in most of my 20s and 30s, and I was born with a condition called pectus excavatum. Some of you might know, if you know my career at all, I was born with a sunken concave chest, and I actually didn't have it corrected until I was maybe 36. I was living in New York City. I had really good health insurance. So I went in for surgery. They did this crazy thing where they broke my sternum, brought it up, and they put a bar in my chest. And after that, I had about a year to heal. I started going to the gym hardcore. I got all these tattoos. I changed my name, and I started doing webcam work on a platform called Flirt for Free, and got my name as Dolf Dietrich, which I chose because Dolph Lundgren was my favorite jerk-off actor from the 80s and 90s. And Dietrich is actually my family name, my mother's maiden name. So I used that. It sounded very German. I'm part German. I speak German, so it wasn't a big stretch, but I grew up in the United States. And then, I was doing webcam work for the first couple of years, and people were loving it. I was just really getting off on showing off for people, challenging myself with huge toys, stretching my ass. It was just me and the camera for a long time, and people were following me on Twitter, started all the social media. I'm a marketing major, went to college for that. So it was great. I was able to market myself as a, startup porn company star, if you will. And then people started asking me, where are your movies? And my first scene I ever filmed was we were talking about this earlier, with Dick Wad. And I'd been speaking to the owner of that company for a couple of years. He wanted to get me in there, but I was too shy, too nervous. So finally, after a lot of talking to him, he flew me out to San Diego, and I filmed my first movie, which is called Hard Hat Pigs 3. I had jerked off to Hard Hat Pigs 1 and Hard Hat Pigs 2 so many times. I thought they were so hot. So being a part of Hard Hat Pigs 3 was like a dream come true. And after I filmed that first scene with Blue Bailey, Ray Dalton, and some other people I really admired, I just, it was all the way up from there.
I have to say, working with Dick Wad is an amazing experience. For your fans out there, if you haven't gotten a chance to actually check out Dick Wad, you should. Trust me, that video, that video all too well. That was one of my first videos I ever purchased of Dick Wad's, and I was like,
Yeah, it was amazing. It's an amazing memory. It's great that it still lives on and people still love it. So
Well, with him being within the webcam, because I actually work with Cam4 and Chatterbait. I kind of been working with a little bit of Flirt for free, but the last time I ever worked with them was when Bad Puppy was major and I did my first porn video. For some of the viewers that actually, they look up to you. I know I do. What is some advice that you can actually give for, like, especially with the webcam aspect?
Well, I mean, a lot has changed, obviously, since I started. That we have OnlyFans now, we have Just for Fans, and advice I would say to people ask me all the time, how can I get in porn? And I find a lot of it has to do with marketing, as I said. Have a marketing background. Just do your social media. Don't complain on social media a lot. Try and always maintain a positive attitude. People don't want to hear whining or complaining. And be yourself. For the most part, don't overshare. I'll put it that way. I'm at the point now where I'm able to maybe overshare a little bit because I'm not, really looking for work because they're coming to me, which is very nice. Also, if you do get booked for something, just be super professional, polite, grateful, and show up on time. Don't party. It's going to show up on camera. All of that stuff. I would just say the advice is just to be a good person, like anything else in life. That really goes a long way with people. And if you get a bad reputation for fucking up on one thing, it will follow you around for the rest of your career. Because I am proud of my sterling reputation. I've never done a no-show. I've always done what I'm supposed to, always showed up on time and delivered the best performance I can give. So that's given me almost 10 years of longevity. And I really believe that that's the key to staying in the business.
Well, and that's the thing, like, you have, as I'm sitting here looking at, the adult, basically it's the adult database, for those who don't know, that actually pretty much, if you've worked in the porn industry and you are what we consider a porn star, you're going to be on this database. This database actually keeps track of almost every video you've been in.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty amazing one. But as you guys can see also at the bottom, you guys can follow Dolf Dietrich here on Twitter. And you can also find him on his OnlyFans, which, trust me, he's got some hot content. I've seen a couple of times. This is going to lead into the next question that I actually have for you. When was it that you saw the first time you saw your porn? First porn, like
the first time I saw porn. Well, I grew up in Boston, like I said. I remember my parents. They were kind of hippie bohemian type of people. They would take me on vacation, or we would go on vacation to where my grandmother lived. She lived in a small town on Cape Cod near Provincetown, Massachusetts, which many people know is a destination point for LGBT community, LGBTQ. And in the 80s, when I was growing up, it was sort of a wild place. And they would take me there, and I was 8 years old, maybe. And they would go to a bar, and they would say, just walk up and down the street and enjoy yourself for a couple hours at 8 years old. Things that don't really happen these days. And I remember seeing my first leather queen on the street, this guy with a big handlebar mustache and a harness and assless chaps. And I was so turned on at 8 years old, and I said, I'm going to be that guy someday. I'm going to live in this town. I ended up living there for many years. And I remember I would go to this little store that had it was a head shop that had like things to smoke pot and just tacky things that you would get in a gay resort. And they had all these postcards with men on them, showing their cocks and kissing and, in wet t-shirts and naked. And I remember buying some at 8 years old, and I hid them under my pillow and I would jerk off to them. So that's probably the first porn I saw. And then, my dad had some straight magazines that he hid from my mom. So I was able to get my hand on those for a while, but it was a long time before the internet came around, but that was the first porn I remember seeing.
So with that, do you think the internet has been beneficial for us, or has it kind of hindered it? I mean, I still can say I remember my first issue of Freshman that I got was with Tim Tyler in it.
Yeah,
2003. That was my first issue I ever got, and I'm gonna tell you, it was kind of one of those. It was like, this is kind of hot. It's the magazines now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely don't know what it's like to be, young person coming out and finding porn for the first time anymore. But I can imagine, back then it was just very special. Like you would get your hand on something, and you would get your hand on something, and just
yeah,
use that, for your masturbate material. For now, you can just get online, no matter who you are, what age you are, and find whatever you want. So there's definitely a lot more, but porn will always be exciting. It's just, back in the day, there was a lot less of it, so we had to search a lot harder. And, there were stars back then that I loved, that we all know these days. Many of us don't know that, what was his name with the biggest dick? I can't recall his name, but it's like he's one of the most famous porn stars that you ever want. Jeff Stryker.
Yep.
Yeah. So Jeff Stryker was definitely one of those guys that I was like a beautiful man. He was my fantasy. I would just look up to him, and we had those stars back then. These days we definitely have stars like yourself and me, and there's a lot of them, but some stand out, some don't.
Well, and as a lot of people don't know, and some people do, some people don't know, is we talk about leadership in our community and within the LGBT community, and a lot of people will overlook us, porn stars, as a leader or a voice. And the biggest thing is when we're dealing with the adult industry, we're constantly under attack. I mean, there's a new thing going out that is the 2257s. It's being under attack once again. It's people like us who, like you said, you got to stand out, and it's the marketability. The biggest thing too is personality. If you've got that personality, you're good. People are going to love you no matter what, no matter how old you are, and no matter how young you are. So
exactly. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm myself. So at the beginning of my career, I maybe put on some airs about being just dominant, not daddy who didn't care about people, who just wanted to hurt people or like fuck them without feelings. But the fact is, like, I'm a big 6'5" sensitive dork, and I just love sex, and I share that with people, and they seem to respond to it better than just me pretending to be something that I'm not.
Correct. And I mean, that's like with me. I've been so used to being in front of the camera doing film work, such as what we're going to be doing soon. It's being on webcam. It has definitely helped me be more interactive with my fans, and more interactive. That's part of the reason why I'm doing the podcast. Is I'm a very social person, and I love people.
Yeah.
But the next question that I have for you, Mister, and Joey, you were looking so like, he's just looking like, yeah, I don't want to be on the camera right now.
We've been apart all weekend, so he's just like loving on me. So.
Oh, you're loving on your daddy, which, it's good that you've gotten out. This pandemic, it's kind of fucked everything up.
Yeah, let me put you down, though, Joey. A little warm on my lap. I mean, it's great to have a pet. I say definitely adopt, don't shop. That's what I was saying at the end of my interviews, but I'm going to say it right now in the middle. If you want to have a friend, a beautiful creature to live the rest of his life with you, please adopt. Don't go out and shop for it. So that's my little.
I'm a big adoption person as well, and it's so nice to know that you're that same way. Adoption is the best way. People, I'm telling you, there are tons of puppies and kitties and animals out there that just need that love. So go out and adopt. The next question: what do your friends and family think of your chosen career?
Well, my mom just passed in.
My condolences.
Thank you. She passed 2 days after my birthday in June, and she knew about it, but she didn't really say anything. She found out because I think my sister-in-law told her. My sister-in-law found out through something. She's a gossipy, busybody woman, and decided to tell my 74-year-old mother a year before she passed. So my mother never brought it up. She brought it up to many of my ex-boyfriends she kept in touch with, but she never asked me about it. And my dad passed last year, so I have I have 3 older brothers. They're half brothers. The one that's just older than me, we're kind of close, and he's cool with it. He's definitely straight guy, but he's pretty progressive. Friends, my friends are all cool with it. Most of my friends are in the industry too. I've met the most wonderful people through this industry, and my friends pre-industry, they don't really talk about it with me. I'm still friends with them, but it's one of those things. They know me as Christopher. That was my real given name before Dolf. And they know me as the guy that grew up in Boston that looked like this, didn't do this for a living. So, we still have a great friendship. It's just that we don't really talk about it very much. Friends I'm in the industry with, it's just, we get together and we're like talking about it. So,
that's kind of normal for us. I mean, we get together, we hang out, it's work. But it's not work.
So no, there's no shame. There's nobody who's ever I've lost because of it. Yeah, it's all good.
So going into my next question, and this is a two-part question for you. Some people that, I'm going to put this little warning out there. This may be a little bit of a trigger for some people, may not be a trigger. But this is something that I myself and others who are in this industry like to talk about. And of course, kind of raise our awareness about it as well. How has working in the adult industry made you more aware of your sexual health and also aware of your status? Go ahead and share with the audience, share with our fans that story, your story behind that.
So 2009, I was living in New York City, and I just sort of recreated myself with this look. And I was working in a magazine here in New York. I just moved to New York a few years before. Really, the city opened me up to a lot of things, and I was going to my first sex parties, and I was being invited to a lot of different kind of crazy things. I was doing photo shoots with porn stars. I remember my first porn star I did a photo shoot with was Eric Rhodes, but I was the art director, so I was behind the camera. Didn't look like this, didn't feel like that, but I was learning. I was meeting all these interesting people. I went out. I had been negative up until then. I grew up in the 80s. I think I was 16 in 1988. So I basically was like, I lost my virginity at sort of the height or the beginning of the AIDS crisis. And, we were all sort of scared and into wearing condoms, which was appropriate at the time. And I remember that, I did that for many, many years. And then when I moved to New York, I didn't. And, long story short, I found out that I was positive in 2009 and dealt with it in the only way that I could sort of process it. I sort of shut down for a bit. I moved up to Provincetown, and I was scared. I was scared it was a death sentence, 2009. I was dating, at the time I found out, a negative person who didn't leave me. We ended up spending the next 5 years together, and it was great. But there were some problems with it. One time I thought I converted him, and it was just terrible. We had to go to the hospital, and the condom broke, and all that stuff. So, it took me some time to deal with it and accept it for my own self. Once I did, and I realized it wasn't a death sentence, and I worked on myself, worked on my body, I worked on my mental health. To really it gave me a wake-up call to realize that we're very mortal and we just have one chance and we got to take care of ourselves. So since then, I've become an advocate for undetectable equals untransmittable. I'm one of the models, the campaign people for that, which is a great campaign based out of the UK, based out of Europe. I also, try and be open and explain to people that it's, if they get diagnosed, it's not a death sentence, they can come to me and talk to me about it. And I really just, it's a personal journey, but I feel that the stigma is lifting, and it has lifted over the past many years. So I love that companies like we're working for, like Charged Up Media, embrace it. They don't shy away from it. It's a positive, sex-friendly company. And it's just, I'm happy to be part of it.
And so am I. I actually, I'm glad that we do have those companies around, especially for us models and porn stars that, deal with that. Mental health wise, that's something also that, I kind of wanted to ask about, because I know I was diagnosed in 2008. It was actually a year before you. How do you, as Dolf, do you have those days when you have that mental health day when you need to just like step away from things and kind of recollect yourself?
So it's no secret, if you've ever followed me or you know anything about me on social media, or you know me in person, that I have suffered or struggled with mental health issues and depression and anxiety. Sort of started at the time I was diagnosed, and it set into motion a lot of these feelings that I had never really dealt with before. It's metamorphosed since then. Over the years, it's gotten better. I've sought mental health therapists, to help. It's been great for me. I believe in physical fitness as well as mental fitness. So I believe in talking to somebody. I don't really talk to friends that much as I should. I like to keep my feelings with somebody that's trained to understand them. So I believe mental health, acuity is a really important thing to do in your life. So I'm not, I feel like that I have a platform now. I have 150,000 followers on Twitter, 100,000 on Instagram, and just sharing porn and, pictures of myself naked gets a little tiresome after a while. So I do like to share with people that, while somebody's life may seem really fun and exciting from the outside, we're all struggling with something. There's always something behind what you see in front of you. So yeah, it's one of those things. I really try and help what I can with my platform. I think it's appropriate to do at this point in my career. And we all struggle. We're all doing the best we can. It doesn't help that we're in a pandemic. So
that's the thing about this pandemic. So on that, have you heard of a group called Pineapple Support? I've actually just came across them at XBiz here recently.
Yep, I'm affiliated with them. I'm one of their spokespeople. So yeah, I love Pineapple Support. They work with a lot of people in the industry who suffer from mental health issues, or that have questions about how to deal with certain feelings or how to deal with in the business. It's not really for people that don't do sex work at the moment. As far as I know, it's not. So yeah, there are other resources.
They predominantly deal with us, porn models, sex workers. They deal with us because, like I was saying with the mental health, a lot of people don't know because they're so used to seeing us in front of that camera. They're so used to, just doing that as models, we have those days. Cause I know I've had them. I suffer with mental health issues. I've also had bad relationships, so, coming across, and that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I know that I've seen, with following you and just being a big fanboy, which I can't help it. I'm a huge fanboy of yours.
Thank you, Zachary.
Having a group like that and having a company like that is there for us as models, sex workers, things like that it's nice to know. So Pineapple Support, we'd like to give a big old shout out to you. If you, as an adult entertainer, sex worker, if you need something, follow them on Twitter, Pineapple Support YSW. Which leads me into the next question I have for you, Daddy Dolf.
Yeah, baby, what's up?
Yeah. So, have you ever had a partner that just couldn't deal with you being in the porn industry?
Oh, Delsin, that's a loaded question.
Well, I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. Speaking of loaded, no. Yeah, I have had a few. Most people know. Well, I think we're going to talk about people that I've met that I've fallen for in the industry in a moment, right? Or should I put that into this?
You can. I mean, it's okay. One of those, so we can lead that into it, because I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of like a multi-question.
I got you. All right. Let me take this. All right. So basically, I've been in a relationship since 1998, but about five long-term ones back to back. Maybe had a month in between. One time I had just a day. I had 6 hours in between. I met one guy, left him for 5 years. He broke up with me when they found out I did porn, actually. So here's the answer to the question. I was dating a guy in Paris for that 5 years. He was the one that was negative, that stayed with me, and I was positive. I went back and forth to Paris for 5 years, maybe 20, 30 times. He came to the United States. It was one of the most exciting times in my life. But I was lonely because he didn't live here, and I would spend Christmases alone and holidays and my birthday, because he had a husband. Because French people have husbands and lovers. I was a lover.
People Francais, oui, oui.
Yes. So basically, that's when I started. I did my first porn. I didn't tell him, so oops. He found out about it because it was playing at Le Depot in Paris, sex club, and his friends were there, and they saw me on camera, on the film, on the whatever. And he called me and broke up with me that morning. That night, I was filming my first scene with Treasure Island Media with Drew Sebastian in San Francisco. Oh. I was devastated because I lost my French lover in the morning, and then I was very vulnerable, but I filmed a hot scene with Drew Sebastian that night, and we ended up dating for the next year. It just happened. I didn't want to pass up the opportunity. It was a weird time in my life. But we ended up being a great couple for the next year, power couple, power porn couple, the height of my career. Maybe that's still ahead of me, I don't know. And we ended up eventually breaking up. I then met Hugh Hunter, who I met him on a set for Lucas Entertainment, and we ended up getting married a year later. And we were together for 4 years. I'm currently going through divorce, which is sad, but it happens. Didn't have a lot to do with porn. But then I met another guy in Palm Springs. This past time, I just lived out there. Great guy. Thought he was cool with the porn thing and the escorting, and ended up he wasn't. So, I think I'm a little bit gun shy now because a lot of guys say they can handle it. A lot of guys say, oh, sure, I have no problem. It's just a job. And then you tell them, well, I have to go now.
I gotta do some work.
I have to go escort, or I have to go film a scene. And, it's just sex, but they just can't handle it. So now I'm going to remain single for a while and see how that goes.
I'm right there with you, actually. And the reason why I had that question for you is because fans don't really realize that, you can very much fall in love with the co-star. You can very much fall. And even as co-stars, sometimes it does, there's a little bit of a jealousy that can happen. Because I had a co-star that I actually, we dated for a while. We were strippers. We were both escorts. And evidently I was getting too much attention and him not enough. And I got broke up with right there on set in the middle of a scene.
Oh my, that's rough, man. And then you get to finish it and finish the scene?
We actually, the director was like, he's like sitting there like with the camera in his hand. He almost dropped it because he's like, who the fuck does that shit? So we never ended up finishing that scene because it was just one of those. So there is a deleted footage from a movie because of that.
It's rough, man.
It is, but I'm one of those. As I always say, I'm a survivor. I've been there, done that, wore out that T-shirt, and Lord knows I've had a bad knack for boyfriends.
Wow.
So 2 years single now, going on 2 years. And granted, I'm talking with a daddy, but talking with a sir. But it's kind of one of those. It's a different ballpark, and I make sure that first thing before I even remotely get in a relationship, I tell them flat out, I'm a sex worker. If you don't like it, there's the door you came in. We can have sex, and you can be done.
Yeah, that's a really good way to be. Your story reminds me of one thing that happened to me after Drew Sebastian and I broke up. It was a very bad breakup. I was so in love with him. I almost asked him to marry me. It's a good thing I didn't. But he moved back to California. But we still had some bookings together. We had commitments. One of them was it was just the one left. We had a booking at Nob Hill Theater, which was a great sex theater that I worked at countless times. Live shows on stage, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. It was great. Going there, nice. Attractive. So he and I had a show booked after we broke up at Nob Hill Theater. My tickets were paid for. I was friends with the owners. My hotel was paid for. I thought I could handle it. I get out there, and it was a mess. From the minute I got there, I was like so upset. We were just fighting. So we did our show together. We still did it. We went on stage. I was having sex with him. I was trying to not show that I was crying to the audience because I was upset. Anyway, so it was bad. We're friends now. It took a long time. But yeah, it's not easy. Relationships are never easy when you add the whole porn thing into it.
It just gets more complicated.
It adds another layer of complications.
And fans out there, I will tell you, Dolf can tell you too, even if you work in the industry, it is still going to be difficult. I've got some straight friends that work in straight porn, and their wife works with them, and they're like, I have another buddy. I love Bosun. He's actually a really cool guy. His wife, I have to say, is the coolest woman ever because she loves it when he does the porn for Bromo.
Yeah.
It's good to have that relationship. But they've even said on an interview before I've watched, it gets complicated. It's
complicated. So I will say that we have a project coming up, which I know we're going to talk about in a minute, called The Life of Pandemic Man Pussy, which stars myself and Delsin Pistons, some other very hot guys. Also, my friend Brian Bonds plays my husband in the movie. Brian Bonds has been in porn for as long as I have. He's very well known, extremely sexy, great, beautiful bottom, top sometimes. And he's coming to stay with me while we film at the end of September. He's staying with me for, I think, almost a week. And he's sexy as fuck. And we have no interest in dating, I think. But I think, we're going to fuck. We're going to fuck on camera. We're going to play. We're going to be pigs together. And I'm just looking forward to, for once in my life, not once, but this point in my life, having a fun piggy time with a friend who's going to stay in my bed that I can fuck whenever I want, and that we can film together, and there'll be no jealousy, and we could just be partners in crime.
I'm going to sneak over to your apartment, right?
You're welcome. We'll definitely, we'll share.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be, it's going to be a fun time. And I am so looking forward to working with you and Brian. Actually, I just sit there and watch the newest release he had with Raging Stallions. And I messaged him. I was like,
yeah,
because it's one of those. So my next little question, and as y'all know, yes, we will be filming Pandemic Man Pussy, starring no other than Dolf Dietrich, Brian Bonds, myself, and a few other really hot fucking guys. Look forward to that coming soon. Make sure if you want to check it out, go over to chargedupmedia.com, timtylerxxx.com, and you can also go on Twitter and talk with him at timtylerxxx.com and follow everything from there. Next question that I have to kind of roll on. Are there things that your home life, home sex, that you will not do in porn or vice versa? A lot of fans, it's kind of a question generally I've gotten asked it many times, that when you are in that relationship or you are just at home, like you say, you get a trick over, are there certain things you will not do that you'll do in porn or vice versa?
Yes. And there are a couple things that I won't do in either, to be honest. I'll tell you about those too. So I was a late bloomer, just to let you guys know. And it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still keep learning about sex and be sex positive and just enjoy yourself and try different things. So I've tried a lot of things. In fact, I was just telling Delsin before this, the first time this past weekend, I tried something new. I fucked a guy in a sling with an aluminum baseball bat. He said was amazing. I mean, it felt so beautiful because it's, cold and smooth and shiny.
Oh.
Anyway, so that was exciting. So that's something I did with my client, to be honest, and it's something I wouldn't normally do at home. I fist a lot in film. I'm a fisting top, these big old mitts, and so I like fisting on camera. I like fisting when I know it makes somebody feel good. It's not something I would probably try with a boyfriend because it doesn't bring me that much pleasure unless he really wanted it. I will never take a fist myself. I'm just not built for it. I will take a shitload of cocks, big fucking cocks, as much cum as possible, but I will not get fisted. So I'm basically a very romantic pig. I call myself Pigmantic. If you go to my Twitter.
I love that you call yourself that, because when I seen that, I was like, that's kind of hot. He's a pig.
Yeah. I got to be honest. I didn't come up with it. One of my fans did. I don't remember who. But it says on my Twitter, at Dolf Dietrich, that I'm a pigmantic, which describes me perfectly because I'm a complete fucking pig. Everybody knows that. But I'm also extremely romantic. So sex for me is really all about kissing when I'm in private. But even on set, if there's a connection, I love kissing. A lot of the things we do, though, like we're going to be doing for Pandemic Man Pussy, will not involve kissing because of the pandemic. It won't really involve oral at all. It's just going to be ass and cock, which is basically proven to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're all getting tested before we film. So it's one of those things where my personal life, I love kissing. I love topping when there's a connection. In my personal life, bottoming is easier when there's no connection, obviously, because I can be a complete cum dump. So when I go out into my public events, which a lot of you might have gone to when I go to when I get hired to go to these sex parties across the world, it's a no loads refuse kind of thing. So I really like to give back to my fans and give my ass up to anyone who wants to get inside me, which is fun. In fact, you can see on the bottom of my foot here. Oh, it's almost gone.
Almost gone.
I had the word cum written earlier, so if I was on all fours, you can see I was doing a test run of having cum on my bottom of my foot for a little thing I'm doing on Friday.
If y'all want to see the really good shot of it, you guys need to get over to his Twitter and over to his OnlyFans. Like, subscribe, follow. You know how it is.
It was fresh earlier. It was fresh on my foot. So what else would I do? The things that I do in porn that I wouldn't do at home. I mean, I just found out I like to piss a lot. I hosted Wet and Hot at CCBC last year. I was scheduled to host it again this year, which is a huge piss fest. So that was my
first. Done by isn't that the one that Dickwad does?
Yes,
Okay.
Dickwad. They're the greatest guys in the world. So if you guys can go in 2021 when they have it again, I think it's in July.
Maybe I'll be going because I like pee.
So I do too, and I didn't really know until last year. Even though I'd done a few scenes with it, I've done a few piss-themed movies. I just didn't really ever experience it. But basically, I'm just a good old hardcore pig. I like fucking, I like cum, I like feet, and like we were talking about earlier, I also like getting into like stockings on guys. It's kind of a new trend I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing a lot of muscle guys. Fishnets and ripped stockings and just getting plowed. Like I want to be that guy, or I want to be that guy doing that. I just filmed with a studio called Gentleman's Closet with me and Jake Morgan, one of my hot buddies, and we wore stockings. We fucked each other. It was hot. It was a really good time. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm intrigued by like feminization of masculine guys, and there's all kinds of things you can keep learning. One of the things I don't think I will try is sounding. I know people swear by it, but for me, it's just something I don't feel good about. Not in the sounding. I know guys like it, but I just not for me.
I've tried it because I'm a sounding top when it comes down to it, and I have tried it. Not for me.
Yeah.
No, I understand the purpose of it, but no, I'm right there with you, Dolf, on that one. I will do it to somebody because it's giving them pleasure. As a top, I like giving my bottom pleasure because that gives me pleasure.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it.
Fans can tell you're very versatile, evidently. So,
yes.
So right now, because you answered the last question I had, kind of in the mix of the, have a partner that ever, was or not okay with it, and you talked about your fallen star, One thing I want to do is we do have a viewer. If you have a question for Dolf, please feel free to type it into the comment section there. We do have live comment, and Dolf would be glad to answer anything that you may have.
Sure.
I have to ask, out of all the videos you've done, in the 137 of them, what was your favorite scene to do and with?
Wow. Oh my God. That's tough. I would have to say it was the first one, the only one that I filmed that was never released, which is sad to say because you guys will never see it. But it was with Drew Sebastian, and we filmed. It was our first time meeting, and we had this connection that was unbelievable. And unfortunately, and it was filmed for Treasure Island Media in a hotel room. The camera, it was either the audio was broken and they were filming the whole time there was no audio, or I can't really recall, or the lens was broken, so it was all out of focus.
Okay.
So it was just such an amazing, beautiful, electric scene when I filmed with him, and I fell for him in an instant, and he fell for me, and it was beautiful. But that scene, so I can tell you something that you guys can rent. That would be one of my favorite ones. Probably Hard Hat Pigs 3, because it was my first scene ever, and you can see how excited I am and just organically like how piggy it became. So I would definitely say that has to be one of the closest scenes to my cock of my heart.
Well, I have. There we go. I was figuring it out. I'm still kind of new to my stream thing here. So there we go. My other random popped question. We're gonna do a little thing that we do on Cam 4. Okay. Have I not ever?
Oh, geez.
So hold up 5 fingers. Have you ever taken piss in your mouth?
Does that mean yes?
Yep, that means yes.
Okay.
So tell that incident.
Oh, it was actually the first time I ever did it was at Wet and Hot last year. Yeah, not this year, last year. And I was like, I'm going to take a mouthful of piss and swallow it for the first time. And I found this really fucking hot guy and asked him to do that. He had no problem with it. So there was like 5 other guys pissing all over my body and this guy pissing in my mouth as I chugged it. And it was just so fucking hot. And it was just amazing. So I want to try that again. So yes.
Yes. See, mine was with Dick Watt. It was actually after we shot the scene and I pissed on Joey O'Brien. Fucking God, that was fucking hot.
Nice.
We went actually back to the hotel and Joey comes in and says, so, tit for tat, I want you to swallow my piss. I got on my fucking knees and did it. And I'm going to tell you, man, I busted a nut in the middle of it.
Amazing. Oh, hang on a second. Wait, can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Okay. I had
You had
a phone call come through and it came through on my computer too. Wait, let me get back to you. I can't see you.
You can't see me. I can see you.
Wait 1 second here.
Okay.
All right, let's play. If you can see me, let's play the other question.
Okay. So the next have I never ever. Have you ever taken 2 dicks at once?
I have not. So I'm going to keep my fingers up. I was supposed to do that a week or 2 ago for New York Seed, which is this company I've been filming here with in New York. They filmed the most amazing OnlyFans content. Check them out at New York Seed, NYSEED XXX on Twitter. I have a scene that they just put up for me. So I didn't get to do it because one of the models tested positive for like a STD. So we do care about that in the industry. And if you do test positive, we like to know about it immediately and we don't film. So no, my dream is on hold for that.
So is mine. My roommate told me I had been double penetrated at Flex Bathhouse. I put it like this. I don't remember it. And trust me, when I woke up to the 2 guys, I mean, I know I played with them, but I would have remembered having 2 of the points in my ass.
I can't wait to try it. I mean, if you would remember, I think
I would definitely remember, especially. Have you never ever?
Are you there?
Had food play?
Oh, say it again.
Have you ever done food play?
Food play? No, because I've been asked to do this with my feet. Are you talking about like squishing food with my feet?
Yeah, squishing food, having that whole 9 yards.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm there. How's that?
Can you see it?
Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay, so I'm just going to keep it like this. I can't see you, but if you can see me, I'm good.
I can see you.
So I've never done this, but I heard because I have size 14 feet, I should really be doing this. So if anyone's interested, please let me know. Send me a message on Twitter. If I can squish Twinkies with my toes, I'll do it for you.
Definitely direct message him. And if you're here on Twitch watching as well, this is the first broadcast of SexCast. Hope you're enjoying. If you have a question, please put it in the live comments below. If you're on YouTube or on Periscope, if you got a question, put it in the comments. Down to the last one. Okay, one last have I never ever.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a Reese's cup eaten out of your ass crack?
How did you know, Delsin? No, I'm just kidding. Wow, I love Reese's cups. If I could eat it out of my own household, I would try that. I bet it would be good frozen. Do you think?
Yeah, frozen. So that gives me to do to you when I come up there. I have had a Reese's cup. One of my ex-boyfriends, he got me into balloons, got me into whipped cream. And one of them was he took a frozen Reese's cup, put it between my ass cheeks, and just started eating my fucking ass like nobody's business. And I'm going to tell you, that was a really good experience.
Amazing. That's really cool. I'm definitely going to have to try that. I would totally be into that. One thing, just to kind of expound on that, I'm requesting devil's dicks for our shoot. So anyone that doesn't know what a devil's dick is, it's cum. And I have to show you. I have to give you a visual example. You can save it in something like this, which is a test tube that I got inside of a cocktail this weekend filled with tequila. I was in Fort Lauderdale, but I took it home because if you fill this with cum, jerk off over a period of a week or 2, depending on how big you shoot your loads, and you could slide it out if it gets a little warm, and then shove it into my ass when you're fucking me, or I can do yours. It's amazing. So it's called the devil's dick. It's frozen, kind of like that Reese's cup that Delsin was talking about, but it's cum. So it's really fun because it just melts and you fuck into it. So anyway, I've had the devil's dick before.
So this brings me to the last segment of the show. would you like to go ahead and plug in and let people know where to find you, how to find you, what's coming up on your schedule, and the kind of just give a little bit of promotion for them?
Sure. So please follow me on Twitter.
Oh,
you got me?
there we go. Okay, sorry.
Okay. So you can find me on Twitter at Dolf Dietrich. You can find me on Instagram at Dolf Dietrich XXX. I have some scenes coming up this week. I'll be filming with New York Seed for my OnlyFans, which is onlyfans.com/Dolf Dietrich. No XXX on that one. I'll be filming a mini gangbang this weekend, which should be pretty amazing, which is what I was testing out that cum on my foot for. I'll be filming with Carnal Media the week after, which is a couple different sites like Twink Tops, Boy for Sale. Stay tuned for information on that. It's at Carnal Media, CARNAL Media on Twitter. And then, I'll be filming for Pandemic Man Pussy with Delsin and the other guys coming up the week after that. And this year, hopefully, there'll be the launch of the Dolf Dietrich dildo, which will be coming out through a company which I can't really talk about right now, but we've got my cock, my foot, my mouth, my asshole, and my hand coming out as replicas, so you too can have a piece of me inside of you. So that'll be coming out, and portions of that, 10% will be going towards charity. That's yet to be determined. So I'm really excited about that. Probably a mental health, LGBTQ charity. So we're figuring that out right now. So that's about it, Delsin.
Okay, well, I want to say first and foremost, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for being on my podcast, and I am looking so forward to getting to work with you. Y'all out there don't understand. Daddy Dolf here, and I call him Daddy because, man, he is one hot daddy.
49 years old, almost 50.
I'm getting hard just thinking about it.
That's right.
But as y'all know, y'all can follow him. You see the ticker below. The ticker below this is Twitter and his OnlyFans. Please go over there, like, subscribe, follow. You see a lot of Joey, and I love Joey. Joey is so cute. It's so cute to see him with Daddy.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to it. Thank you so much, my love. I can't wait to be up there to spend time with you. I'm looking forward to working with you, Brian, Tim. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you once again, Dolf. Got any last words or a shout out you would like to do?
Thank you so much, Delsin. Thank you to all my fans who've been supportive over the past many years. Just remember, if you're not feeling great during this pandemic, it's okay not to be okay, and seek help. Reach out to somebody close to you. Send me a message. I'm not trained, but I can help. Hopefully send you some good thoughts your way. Everyone take care and please be well.
Thank you. Y'all have a great night. I'm going to go ahead and close out, and then I will talk with you a little bit after this, okay?
Bye, everyone.
So thank you all for tuning in to SexCast with me, your host, Delsin Pistons. As you can see, follow me on Twitter at DelsinPistons.com. You can also check out, hold on. For some reason, the tickers won't. There we go. You can check me out on Instagram, DelsinPistons XX, and you can check out my branded merch site, DelsinPistons.live, for official merch. Half the proceeds from that go to Free Speech Coalition and to Sex Positivity. Also, I want to go ahead and say, if you're an adult performer and you haven't had a chance, go check out the Adult Performers and Actors Guild at APG or APAG Union on Twitter. I'm a member of them, proud to be. I hope you all had a great night. Much love. Be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.